Imagine waking up to headlines screaming about an intense firefight where the military faced off against one of the most feared criminal organizations in the world, the Sinaloa Cartel. On October 21, 2024, a military patrol in the cartel's heartland was ambushed by more than 30 heavily armed cartel members. But in a shocking turn of events, the Mexican army fought back, leaving 19 cartel operatives dead. This wasn't just another raid, it was a bold statement in the decades-long war on drugs. The ambush wasn't random, it was a direct reflection of the chaos and fractures within the Sinaloa cartel itself. As rival factions battle for control, one question looms larger than ever. Could this be the turning point for Mexico? Or is it yet another flashpoint in an endless cycle of violence? This story isn't just about a single battle. It's about power vacuums, broken communities, and the struggle of an entire nation to rise above the grip of organized crime. Let's explore the layers behind this operation, the web of cartel rivalries, and what this means for Mexico's war on drugs. A city held hostage. Culiacan, the capital of Sinaloa, isn't just a city, it's the heartbeat of the Sinaloa cartel's operations. For decades, this city has been both the cradle of the cartel's power and a symbol of its devastating impact. But in recent years, Culiacan has descended further into chaos, becoming a war zone in all but name. The arrest of two high-profile figures, Ismael El Mayo Zambada, a co-leader of the Sinaloa cartel, and Joaquin Guzman Lopez, one of El Chapo's sons, ignited the flames of violence. These arrests fractured the once powerful cartel into rival factions, Los Chapitos, led by El Chapo's heirs, and Los Mayos, loyal to Zambada. The power struggle quickly escalated into open conflict, with both sides vying for control of drug routes, territories, and allegiances. For Culiacan's residents, the violence is a grim reality. Streets are blocked by burning vehicles, and civilians live in constant fear of stray bullets. Businesses have shuttered their doors, and schools have halted operations, forcing families to keep their children at home. Hospitals have become overwhelmed, treating both the injured and the traumatized. In the aftermath of the violence, over $40 million in damages were reported, with thousands fleeing the city. The crisis in Culiacan is a stark reminder of how the cartel's internal struggles ripple through communities, turning everyday life into a battleground. The Sinaloa cartel: power, chaos, and survival. The Sinaloa cartel's story is one of power, resilience, and reinvention. It started as a small-time trafficking operation in the rugged Sierra Madre Mountains, but under the leadership of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, it grew into a global drug empire. At its peak, the cartel controlled the trafficking of cocaine, heroin, methamphetamine, and fentanyl across multiple continents, generating billions of dollars annually. But when El Chapo was arrested and extradited to the United States in 2017, many believed the cartel's reign was over. They were wrong. Instead of collapsing, the cartel splintered into competing factions. Los Chapitos, driven by the ambition of El Chapo's sons, embraced brutal violence and expansionism. On the other hand, Los Mayos, led by Zambada, relied on cunning diplomacy and well-established smuggling networks. This rivalry came to a head in July 2024 when Zambada was arrested, a move allegedly orchestrated by Los Chapitos. The betrayal shattered any remaining unity within the cartel. What followed was a wave of violence that claimed over 200 lives and left more than 300 missing within months. The Sinaloa cartel's adaptability is both its greatest strength and Mexico's greatest challenge. Even as leaders are captured, the organization's decentralized structure ensures its survival. However, this adaptability also fuels endless cycles of violence as new factions rise to fill the void left by fallen leaders. The ambush that shook the nation. On October 21, 2024, a Mexican army patrol found itself navigating cartel territory near Culiacan. The soldiers knew the risks. They were in enemy territory, where every road could lead to an ambush. And then it happened. A convoy of over 30 cartel operatives, armed with military-grade weapons, launched a surprise attack. The firefight that ensued was intense and chaotic, lasting several hours. By the end, 19 cartel members lay dead, and the army had seized a cache of weapons and vehicles. But the victory came at a price. One soldier was killed in action. The ambush wasn't an isolated incident. It was part of the broader conflict between Los Chapitos and Los Mayos. With Zambeda's arrest, Los Chapitos have been aggressively targeting Maiza strongholds, leading to escalating violence across Sinaloa. While the operation demonstrated the military's strength, it also underscored the sophistication of the cartels. Their use of armored vehicles, assault rifles, and guerrilla tactics highlights the challenge facing Mexico's armed forces. This isn't just a fight against criminals. It's a war against a highly organized, militarized network. The military's role in Scheinbaum's challenge. When soldiers are forced to disarm local police for being involved with cartels, it's a clear sign of how deep the problem goes. But can military action truly end the chaos in Sinaloa? Or is it just a temporary fix? Mexico's first female president, Claudia Sheinbaum, is leading the charge against the nation's cartel violence at a critical moment. She's rolled out a plan that blends military force, economic development, and judicial reform, hoping to address both the symptoms and root causes of the crisis. The government has deployed thousands of soldiers to cartel strongholds, including Sinaloa, where they've been battling violence in the streets. In Culiacan, the military made a bold move by raiding police headquarters and disarming 700 officers tied to the cartels, exposing the deep-seated corruption within local law enforcement. The soldiers took the fight directly to the cartels, raiding hideouts and engaging in fierce street battles, resulting in the deaths of 19 cartel members in one major clash. But the cartels didn't back down. In retaliation, armed groups launched attacks using convoys of up to 40 vehicles, setting up roadblocks, ambushing soldiers, and even using drones, turning Culiacan into a war zone. The arrest of key cartel leaders like Ismael El Mayo Zambada only added fuel to the fire, sparking even more violence and infighting within the Sinaloa cartel. Civilians, caught in the crossfire, have seen hundreds killed or disappeared, living in constant fear. Scheinbaum's approach aims to go beyond just military intervention, with a focus on poverty, lack of education, and judicial reform. However, critics argue that without deep systemic change, the cartels will continue to thrive. The assassinations of 2 mayors and a priest in October 2024 showed just how entrenched the cartel's influence is, not only in politics but in society at large. The military may have had some short-term victories, but without addressing the underlying causes of cartel power, the violence will only persist. While the military's presence offers temporary relief, the real solution lies in tackling Mexico's deep-rooted issues. The army may be able to hold the line for now, but lasting peace will require reform in law enforcement, government transparency, and opportunities for the people. Until these issues are dealt with, the violence will likely continue, no matter how many cartel members are taken down. Real change in Mexico requires more than just force. It needs systemic reform. Culiacan civilians, trapped between 2 fires. For the people of Culiacan, life has become a daily struggle for survival. Residents are caught between the violence of warring factions and the heavy-handed tactics of the military. The human toll of the conflict is staggering: hundreds dead, thousands displaced, and countless lives shattered. One of the most heartbreaking incidents was the murder of Father Marcelo Perez, an indigenous priest known for his work in promoting peace. His assassination in October 2024 sent shockwaves through the nation. Civil and religious groups demanded justice, but faith in the system remains low. Cartels employ over 175,000 people in Mexico, infiltrating every level of society, from police forces to political offices. This deep-rooted corruption exacerbates the suffering of civilians, leaving them with no one to trust. As one resident put it, "We're not safe from the cartels, and we're not safe from the government either." Culiacan's hidden truth: social media versus cartel silence. When the press can't speak freely, people turn to social media for the truth. In Culiacan, with traditional media too scared to report cartel violence, platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and WhatsApp have become the go-to for locals. Residents upload raw videos of gunfights, burned-out cars, and cartel roadblocks, offering a glimpse of life in a city gripped by fear. Journalists, like Luis Enrique Ramirez of El Debate, have been silenced through violence, abducted, and even killed for daring to report the truth. With no safe way to share news, locals rely on each other, posting updates on shootings, blocked routes, and safety tips. This shift to social media reflects a wider trend in Mexico, where violence has forced traditional journalism into silence. While it offers a window into the chaos, it also highlights a disturbing reality. When the press is muzzled, the truth flows through unfiltered videos shared between citizens. Amid the chaos, there are glimmers of hope. In October 2024, a March for Peace brought together 1,500 residents of Culiacan, holding banners that read, "We want peace," and "Take back our streets." These brave individuals stood up against the violence that has plagued their city. While the march was small compared to the scale of the conflict, it was a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. The government has pledged increased security for Culiacan, but the road to peace remains long and uncertain. Thus, Mexico cartel escalation. After the latest ambush against the cartel and the ongoing war between gangs, as well as the Mexican army, tensions between the U.S. and Mexico have reached new heights. As a neighboring country and the largest market for these cartels, the U.S. finds itself deeply entangled in the intensifying battle across the border. In October 2024, U.S. lawmakers, led by Senator Lindsey Graham, called for designating Mexican cartels as foreign terrorist organizations and pushing for military intervention, following the deaths of 4 Americans at the hands of the Gulf Cartel. While Mexico rejects foreign intervention, the U.S. demands stronger action, citing the fentanyl crisis. Meanwhile, in Tamaulipas, rival cartels fight for control of trafficking routes using military-grade weapons. The U.S. and Mexico continue to cooperate, but corruption and unmonitored borders complicate efforts. Despite some successes, challenges like Operation Lone Star persist. With escalating violence and rising political pressure, both nations face a complex and uncertain road ahead in their fight against cartel power. Culiacan's violence is a clear sign of Mexico's larger struggle with drug cartels, the ongoing conflicts between factions, and the government's inability to stop the violence highlight the deep-rooted issues the country faces. The cartels have deeply infiltrated everyday life, and for the people of Culiacan, survival is an unending battle. The road to peace is long and uncertain, with the city remaining a battleground for control between cartels, soldiers, and civilians. The fight against the cartels is more than just a battle, it's a fight for Mexico's future. While the military has made strides, the conflict is far from over, and it's unclear if this operation will be a turning point or just another chapter in the ongoing struggle. For now, the Mexican Army's message remains clear: justice is coming, one operation at a time.